Hamilton, champion of the world in 2014.
World champion! Oh my God! I can't believe it!
5 for Lewis Hamilton, a 5-time champion of the world. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
All great things must come to an end, and for Lewis and Mercedes, that end will come in 8 races' time following the Italian Grand Prix. The driver many consider to be the GOAT of F1 will be leaving Mercedes for Ferrari. After 12 seasons, 8 Constructors' Championships, and 6 Drivers' Championships, Lewis and Mercedes will always be synonymous with one another. However, since 2021, success has been hard to come by for both Lewis and Mercedes. When Lewis announced he was leaving for Ferrari, most of his fans, myself included, were happy. But now with Mercedes experiencing miraculous revival with 3 race wins and Ferrari floundering after their early season success, many fans are left wondering if Lewis is making a mistake by leaving. And if he'll find success at Ferrari, which I would define as Lewis winning his 8th title. And before you comment, I'm ignoring Abu Dhabi 2021 as the FIA recognizes the championship as Max Verstappen's, so enter the story as far as this video is concerned. The first thing we're going to examine is the start of the ground effect era in 2022, marked by Mercedes' now infamous zero-pod design. Heading into that season, Lewis was excited as anybody could be, especially after the challenging 2021 season. However, for the first time in his tenure at Mercedes, he was given a car that couldn't compete for race wins. Despite the setback, Lewis remained optimistic and provided valuable feedback. Unfortunately, though, this feedback was largely ignored by Mercedes, who essentially told him, "You're wrong." This was particularly true regarding the car's fundamental design and the seat being positioned too far forward, which affected the rear end stability and Lewis's confidence in the corners. While Lewis can adapt to a strong front-ended car, he strongly prefers a stable rear end, which is quite the opposite of Charles Leclerc's preferences and Ferrari's car. For more detailed explanation of Lewis's driving style in comparison to Leclerc and the Ferrari car, check out F1 Unchained's video in the description down below. Back to Lewis, he was reportedly taken aback by Mercedes' dismissal of his concern, but trusted the team that had brought him so much success. However, the W14, the car the following year, which Lewis described as the W13's evil twin sister, inherited the same fundamental design flaws as its predecessor, as Mercedes thought they had turned a corner with the design following their win in the 2022 Brazilian Grand Prix. Mercedes eventually abandoned this design and apologized for Lewis for ignoring his input, but for a 39-year-old driver, those 2 years are precious and they were wasted. Although Lewis resigned to Mercedes on a 1+1 deal through 2025, he ultimately decided not to extend the contract beyond 2024, choosing instead to sign with Ferrari, as we all know, before seeing the concept of the W15. Lewis says this decision was driven by the fact that no one turns down a Ferrari contract, but I believe if he knew Mercedes had a championship-capable car, he would have likely turned it down, just as he did with other rumored offers in the past. However, I think he lost faith with the team over the past 2 years, likely feeling frustrated or even hurt when his feedback was ignored. It also didn't help that Mercedes was only offering him a short-term deal, as they were preparing for his eventual replacement with Kimi Antonelli, and they were unwilling to offer him a lifetime ambassadorship, something Ferrari was very willing to provide, as Ferrari's offer was everything the Mercedes deal wasn't, as it included a 2+1 deal through 2027 at least, a much more lucrative contract reportedly worth $100 million compared to his current $55 million, and the ambassadorship that Mercedes wouldn't grant. With the circumstances out of the way, do I think this was a mistake? Well, as I said earlier, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't accurately predict whether or not he's going to win his 8th title at Ferrari, but I think he saw this move as a chance to hit refresh. At the end of the day, he's human, just like all of us. And sometimes you need a fresh situation, or better yet, a new environment with new faces and new ways of doing things. As for the car's performance, I think Lewis knows a bit more than he's letting on, given that he's likely the only person in the world who knows how both Mercedes and Ferrari's 2026 engines are progressing. I say this to emphasize the fact that Lewis isn't like Fernando. He doesn't typically make bad decisions. Take, for example, his move from McLaren to Mercedes. McLaren was outperforming Mercedes at the time, and he was criticized for the switch, even by the likes of Jeremy Clarkson on Top Gear. But Lewis had insight into both teams' trajectories and seized the opportunity for a fresh environment, and look where it got him. As I said multiple times though, this is just my interpretation, but I'm really interested to hearing your thoughts, so comment down below and let me know what you think about the whole situation. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.